Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. Today we should be getting the reveal of the next set of special seasonal units in the game, most likely going to be a bridal theme if they decide to stay consistent. We do have the silhouettes over there on the left hand side that they revealed yesterday just to tease us a little bit, and my god, what is on that left person's head? I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. I will say that the sword on the right side kind of looks like a katana, which could potentially lead to the conclusion that maybe there's a Hoshido theme. Even if there is a Hoshido theme, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be characters from Fates. They have historically done sort of a Japanese-style theme without having characters from Fates in it, so it might not be, but I think one thing that I have with relative confidence is that there's probably going to be a duo unit and probably a bride-groom pairing. So let's go ahead and watch it together blind for the first time and revel in the character reveals, and then afterwards we'll watch it again and really analyze the characters themselves and the banner itself to just gauge whether I think it's worth pulling. So let's get started. Alright, let's get the show on the road. As usual, I am not looking at the screen, and I will not look at the screen until after the splash, so I can see the units come up one at a time. So I'll be looking back up in 3, 2, 1, now. Oh wow, really, Nailah? That's unexpected. Wow, she looks great. I love the feather dress. That's really nice. Bride's Fang, Swift Sparrow 3, Chill Speed Defense 2, Glare. Oh, she still keeps her Glare. Is she gonna... I kind of wanted her wolf to have a dress on. I'm gonna be honest with you. Alright, who's up next? Oh, really? Fierce Bride to be... Oh, it's Oboro. So this is going to be her first ult in the game. Pledged Blade Plus, Attack Defense Form 3. Yeah. Okay, Oboro, some representation there. Blessed Wings, okay. I see you. Rafiel, okay. Is she gonna... Oh, okay, so he's gonna be a singer. That makes sense. Alright, Groom's Wing, though. Only has 4 skills, so I wonder, could this dancer be the 4-star... unit on the banner? I don't know. And then bringing up the rear, okay, Dawn's Wind Duo, and we were right. It is going to be the pair of... It's going to be the pair of Micaiah and Soth. Oh man, Joyful Vows, Sacrifice, Attack Res Push 4, Mystic Boost 3. Oh wow, Mystic Boost 3. That's certainly interesting. Okay. And the duo skill. Yeah, it's 3 columns a unit, minus... we'll look at that. We'll take a closer look once all is said and done. Let's take a look at the duo skill in action, even though I completely missed what it said. That's fine.
Let's go together.
I'm right here.
I like how she's floating. I didn't check. Is she a flyer? Like, since she's floating, does that mean she's a flyer? It could be. Nailah, Oboro, Raphael, and Micaiah. Bridal Beloveds. And then here is that Hinata? That's Hinata. I recognize that hair. Yeah, no, that's... So he's going to be an axe unit, apparently. So Hinata is going to be free. It makes a lot of sense if Oboro was going to be on here as well. So that's pretty exciting. Micaiah is super popular. I should have probably expected... that as a candidate for the duo unit. Special heroes are here. Bridal Beloveds will be starting on the 20th of May, all the way up until the 19th of June, so we will have 1 full month, as usual. Equal color representation on the banner itself, and just reading through this really quickly, Raphael will be a 4-star focus summon, so he's going to be a singer, a refresher at the 4-star rate, which, you know, is always good, especially as a seasonal dancer. I feel like those, you know, tend to be on the rarer side. Getting those at a 4-star focus rate, which is actually exceptionally high, is pretty awesome. And he is going to be blue on the banner. So pretty cool. I like the selection here. I have to admit, when I saw Oboro for a second, I thought that it was Orochi. I don't know why I did, but for like a split second, I thought it was Orochi. We're going to get Hinata for free. Nailah looks really awesome, and I feel like is kind of kind of an off-ball choice, which is really cool. Rafiel's neat, and then we have duo Bridal Micaiah, which I am sure that people are going to be excited for. So let's go ahead and rewind, take a closer look at the art, take a look at their skills, and ultimately, make a decision, or I'll make a decision, if I think it's worth summoning for. That's just going to be my opinion, but we'll go through it all together. So let's get started. In sickness and in health, I think Nailah looks awesome. I think Nailah looks really great. Blessed Queen. So let's pause here. Her dress actually does bear a slight resemblance to like the standard bride class because it does have like the feathering, but I feel like it's like actual feathers rather than like the giant feather design, which is really cool for her. Obviously being a beast unit, I think that makes a lot of sense. She does have like her characteristic sash, so there's elements of her mixed in with the bridal theme, and I think it works really well. You get like, the raw magenta stripes, even like the design of her veil and her patch. I think it looks really cool. I think it looks really elegant. Honestly, I'm tempted to pull for it just for her art alone. I think it's really awesome. So she is going to be a beast unit, and she is going to be a green infantry beast unit. Let's keep going.
Bring my groom with haste.
As aggressive as always. Alright, let's pause here and take a look at her skills. So Bride's Fang is going to be a 14 might weapon, accelerates special trigger cooldown count -1. At start of combat, if foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75%, inflicts attack speed defense -5 on foe during combat. In combat debuff, okay? And if special triggers before or during combat and unit attack, cooldown count -1 after combat. I see. At start of turn, if unit is adjacent to a beast... okay, so the condition for transformation of beasts, right, the standard one. Unit transforms, and the transformation grants +2 attack and deals +10 damage when the special triggers. So that is going to be true damage. That is going to be the Wrath effect, basically, which is pretty darn powerful. So let's break down this weapon. So naturally, accelerate special trigger cooldown -1. Always a good thing. Instant killer / slaying effect. Very, very good. At start of combat, if foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75%. So I'm honestly not a huge fan of those conditions because you don't have control over them. I've said that in the past. That's just something that, I have a personal qualm with. You don't have control over the enemy's HP level. I mean, you do to an extent if you're going to be attacking into somebody, but you otherwise don't really have full control. And of course, the condition is always active at the start of battle because everybody has 100% HP, right? But all the same, I like to have more control over the conditions traditionally, and having more, personal control over how they proc. But of course, having the effect of attack speed defense -5 on foe during combat is a very powerful effect. It's really awesome. And then not only that, if her special triggers before or during combat, so that means AoE skills or in combat special attacks, or even defensive attacks, I guess, she'll get -1 special cooldown count after combat. So obviously that means that in this instance, she's going to get constant moonbows, right? If she's got Moonbow, it's going to be on a 1-turn cooldown. If she procs Moonbow, she's going to get an additional -1 cooldown after combat, again, provided that there isn't like a guard effect on her or something like that. So after that initial proc, she's going to have Moonbow at a constant 0-turn cooldown, basically, as long as she's attacking into units with above 75% HP. So pretty darn strong. And then, of course, if she's in her beast form, she gets +10 damage on top of that and +2 attack. Really, really strong stuff. Now, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but for her beast slot, she has Chill Speed Defense 2, which is another one of those combination stat chill skills, and a very, very strong one at that. Speed and Defense is a great combination to debuff on the enemy team, so very, very solid. But because Nailah is an infantry unit, you could potentially put Wrath on her for the beast slot and really double up on that so that when her special triggers and she meets that HP threshold, she's going to be doing +20 raw damage when she procs her special, which is pretty good. That's pretty darn good. And of course, because she's infantry, potentially she could also use Special Spiral 3 on the B slot as well. I don't know if that works together with Bride's Fang. There's nothing in Bride's Fang's description that talks about, not having a duplicate effect if there's more than one effect that does this. I don't remember if Special Spirals does or not, but if it does, then ultimately that means that she could potentially get -3 cooldown, rather than just -1 or -2. If that's the case, that's actually pretty remarkable. She could potentially put on a much more powerful special and still reap the benefits of the insta-charge after combat. So that's really remarkable. if that's the case. Obviously, I skipped over Swissbearer 3, one of the stronger A-slot skills, tier 4 A-slot skills in the game for player phase units. If unit initiates combat, grants attack +6, speed +7 during combat. Very strong, although I think in her case, she may want to opt for something that's more attack-based, because it sounds like she's just going to be proccing specials over and over again. I don't know if she necessarily needs the speed to double, if she's going to be able to proc really powerful specials repeatedly. And then, of course, Glare for the C-slot is her unique C-slot skill that she has had in her original form as well. After combat, if unit attacked, inflicts status on target and foes within one space of target, restricting movement to one space through their next action. So essentially putting gravity effect on them as long as she is attacking during combat. So really, really strong, impressive kit here. She is an infantry unit, and infantry units really are no strangers to having ridiculous combinations of special cooldown effects and all of that stuff. So she's kind of like right at home there, but I do think that she kind of carves her own niche a little bit because of how it can stack and is built into her weapon, in addition to potentially being her B-slot skill that you could swap into her with Special Spiral 3, or even Wrath, or something to that effect. So I'm curious to see if that actually works out or not. Her kit as is obviously very, very strong. So let's keep going. I'm going to repeat myself. I do lament the fact that her wolf form does not have a dress on. I'm just going to put that out there right now.
Remember your vows.
Yeah. Alright. Does have a nice little flower effect there. So here's the fierce bride-to-be.
I'm Oboro of Hoshida.
So Oboro here is looking pretty great. I like the giant hood. She's wearing like more traditional Hoshidan garb. She has a sword, and she's going to be an infantry sword unit, which, I mean, we definitely have a lot of those. So she kind of, I'm curious how they're going to kind of set her apart. If she's going to have like, you know, absurd defense or res. If I don't know, but obviously it's a tough combination to kind of carve your name in. But I think art-wise, I think they did a great job with her. I am curious. I'm hoping, because I missed it the first time, that her attacking art has her without the hood, just because that way you can see more of her. But let's keep going.
For a long time.
Okay, so let's pause. Pledged Blade Plus. So this is going to be an inheritable sword. It's 14 might. If bonus is active on unit, grants attack defense +4 and special cooldown charge +1 per foe's attack during combat. Only highest, so does not stack. Gotcha. Bonus, all effects that last for one turn or that turn only, rallies and hones. Right. We know all about that. So as long as she has a buff on her, like an activated buff, doesn't have to be a stat boost, could be any other kind of buff that's active on her. She gets attack defense +4 and special cooldown charge, so like a built-in like blade effect. Special cooldown charge +1 on foe during combat. Considering how prevalent activated buffs are of any form, whether they're stat or otherwise, that's a very strong effect and a very easy condition to meet. And it's inheritable, which is exceptionally powerful, because basically that condition can very easily be met. You get attack defense +4, so a significant boost to stats itself. I mean, obviously you have to remember it doesn't stack with other blade effects. So if you have Heavy Blade or Flashing Blade as a seal or as your A-slot skill, it's not going to stack with that. So you have to keep that in mind. But the Pledge Blade Plus could be an alternative to a lot of Slaying Edge builds that are out there. So something worth keeping in mind. Rally Attack Res Plus grants attack Res +6. To target ally during combat. These duo rallies are strong. Attack defense form 3 grants attack defense +X to unit during combat, while X equals 2 times the number of allies within 2 spaces +1, maximum of 7. So pretty easy condition to meet when you have a team that's that has synergy that you don't have solo. So attack and defense makes a lot of sense for that. Odd Pulse Tie 3. Okay. At start of odd number turns, if any foe's HP +1 is less than or equal to unit's HP, and that foe's special is ready, inflict special cooldown count +1 on foe with the lowest HP among those foes. I'm honestly not in love with the pulse ties because of how they work and how they kind of are contingent upon picking one of the units on the opposing team that has the lowest HP, which, again, you don't have control over. And the fact that you don't have control over it, gives me pause. The other thing that sort of gives me pause is that because they put Odd Pulse Tie 3 on her, that sort of implies to me that she's going to have a high HP stat, which I don't really know if that's the best thing. We have to see kind of what her stat line is going to be, but personally, I'm just going to say that I prefer skills that you have more control over, which is why I'm not a huge fan of the Pulse Tie skills, among others. But, at the end of the day, Oboro's kit here, I feel like is a little it's a little lukewarm. I mean, there's some good stuff, don't get me wrong. A lot of it is going to be dependent on her stat line, of course. I think Pledged Blade Plus is actually a great weapon. The fact that it's inheritable is awesome as well. So that's actually probably one of the most exciting prospects of Oboro, as well as her art. I think her art looks great too. And then being able to inherit the form skill is also just solid. But I would say that the highlight for Oboro personally is probably the Pledged Blade Plus. So let's keep going. As well as her art. I think her art is great. I do want to take a look at her attacking art here. Okay, she still has the giant hood on her, but that's fine. Alright, so we are going to get Blessed Wings. Alright, let's take a pause here. So Raphael is going to be an infantry beast unit. So at first I thought he was going to be a flyer, but I guess not. He is going to be an infantry unit. That's an interesting decision. I guess maybe they were concerned about giving us too many blue flying dancers. I mean, that's definitely possible. I don't think we have an infantry beast dancer / refresher at this time. So if I'm wrong, somebody will correct me, I'm sure. But I can't remember any off the top of my head. Obviously, we have the dragons, but not any beast units, I don't think. But Raphael's art looks great here, I would say. He looks very regal, very angelic, which obviously is kind of the theme that they're going for. The gold and the white obviously complement each other with the strokes of black throughout. Really complements the overall look. I think it's great. I think he looks good. Let's keep going.
She must look very beautiful.
I'm sure. Alrighty, so let's look at Rafiel, who refuses to use his wings. Maybe that's why he's a 4-star. If he were using his wings, he would have been a 5-star. But anyway, he's got his unique weapon, Groom's Wing, that is going to be unique to him, not inheritable. It's a 14-might weapon, grants res +3. At start of turn 1, grants special cooldown count -1 to unit support partner, if any. Okay, alright. I was actually expecting them to bust out these support partner skills and, based skills and weapons during the Bridal Banner. I think that makes a lot of sense. So that makes a lot of sense. At start of turn, if he meets the condition to transform, meaning he's next to only either beasts or dragons or alone, grants attack +2 and deals +10 damage. Okay, alright, so that's the +2 attack and then the +10 damage, which is basically the Wrath effect. So again, pretty good. You can synergize that with Wrath on the B slot, since, again, Raphael is going to be an infantry unit, so he can take advantage of that. Not an amazing weapon by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, the Beast effect is pretty good. Most Beast effects are pretty good. But the res +3, that's fine. I mean, I think for dancers, you probably want somebody that's a little bit tankier rather than somebody who's offensive-based. At start of turn 1, grant special cooldown count -1 to support ally. That's fine too. I totally get that. Obviously works in tandem with Nailah, but at the end of the day, it's only on turn 1. It's basically a quick impulse effect on your ally that you have a partner with, and then you don't see any other advantages throughout the course of the battle. It's just for that one turn. But maybe that's all you need. Maybe you have this plus quick impulse plus whatever else you want to throw on to get the additional cooldown. And then you can make some kind of ridiculous combinations. I can't really think off the top of my head what those conditions would be, but it's worth exploring for sure. Sing for the assist, naturally, makes a lot of sense. He's a refresher. Firestorm Dance 2 for the B slot. If Singer Dance is used, grants attack speed +3 to target. That's not horrible as far as the Storm Dance skills go for the B slot. But the reality is that dancers aren't going to be using these. I mean, you're going to have Wings of Mercy on him or something else to that effect. You're not going to have Firestorm Dance or really any of the dance exclusive B skills unless you get a much higher advantage when doing the dance. So until that happens, I think these are kind of sidelined skills more or less. Ward Beasts for the C slot grants defense res +4 to beast allies within 2 spaces during combat. Ward skills are solid, especially if you're rocking a beast team. So that's a great skill to have. So overall, Raphael, good source of ward beasts, going to be a beast dancer. So getting more dancers is always going to be a good thing. His Groom's Wing, I think, is a little underwhelming, but again, he's a 4-star unit on the banner, or 4-star focus on the banner. Firestorm Dance 2 you're not really going to use, but the mere fact that he's a dancer and a beast unit and has ward beasts, so that's absolutely worth taking into consideration. Let's keep going. Take a look at his art here. And he transforms. I love his flowing hair. Looks very majestic. Okay, so Dawn Wins duo.
So beautiful.
You're very dapper, South.
Aw, so beautiful. Okay. Oh wait, I got so caught up in what they were saying, I didn't actually look at what they were. I'm sorry. So they're gonna. Oh, so Micaiah is going to be a flyer. Micaiah's going to be a flyer, flying colorless tome, so we're getting another colorless tome in the game. You know, really, when they start introducing something, they don't stop, do they? They just drive it home. And of course, Micaiah and Soth were right. Micaiah is looking very beautiful, and Soth is looking very, very dapper back there as well. They complement each other exceptionally well. I love the complement of colors between the two. Obviously, with Soth, you know, amidst all the white and everything, you know, with Soth, you have the green button up underneath. But you also have the hints of green in kind of the cape he has behind him as part of his coat. Just very subtle and soft back there. And of course, he's got like kind of a scarf there that has the lighter green. And then he also has the tie flower that's kind of orange that complements and matches Micaiah's bouquet there. Obviously, Micaiah has some of the red accents as well as a little bit of green as well on the front, again, to sort of match up with Soth. So I think they make a very, very good-looking pair here. And then, of course, you've got Yoon flying as well. That actually kind of matches the bouquet and the flowers in general. So I like the design. I like the color choices here. I think Tefish did a great job. Micaiah looks very traditional but beautiful all the same. And so, of course, looking very handsome back there as well. So let's see what the next colorless tome has in store for us. So let's pause here. Joyful Vows is going to be their weapon. 14 might. It's going to be a colorless tome, of course. Effective against armored and cavalry foes. That is Micaiah's thing, basically. Grants attack +3. Always a solid effect. If bonus is active on unit, grants attack res +6 during combat. And if unit initiates combat, foe cannot make a follow-up attack. Effective against armored and cavalry foes is a powerful effect, and the fact that she's colorless means that she doesn't have color disadvantage against anybody. So that is going to be a strong thing. Well, except for Raven Tomes, of course. Attack +3 is always solid, and I was just talking about how the bonus active on the unit is not a difficult condition to meet at all whatsoever. Even self-procking for that matter. So grants attack res +6 during combat is a very strong in-combat buff. And then nullifying the enemy's ability to double is very strong as well. This is a good weapon. It's definitely a solid weapon. A sacrifice for the assist converts penalties on target into bonuses, restores HP to target equal to unit's HP -1, reduces foe's HP by amount stored. Yeah, I mean it's fine. I mean it's kind of Micaiah's assist more or less. So and it works fine. Obviously, she's a flyer. I think, honestly, in most instances, you're going to want to just swap that for reposition. A slot skill, attack res, push 4. The push skills are so good. Let me clarify. The tier 4 versions of the push skills are so good. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack res +7. But after combat, if unit attacked, deals 5 damage to unit. Yeah. The push skills are awesome, and she's definitely going to take full advantage of this. It looks like they're making her into a high-attack, high-res tank nuker, which is kind of Micaiah in a nutshell anyway. So, yeah, I mean, this certainly fits in line with her archetype. Mystic Boost 3 for the B slot. Disables foe skills that calculates damage using the lower... it cancels adaptive damage, right? And also cancels Wrathful Staff. Restores 6 HP after combat. So Mystic Boost 3 is an interesting combination of effects that nullify certain annoyances or nuisances that you might encounter in something like Ether Raids or on certain challenges, and then has a restore effect as well for after combat. So it's definitely strong, obviously first introduced with Air, and I think it complements well with her if she's going to be using Sacrifice, for example, and potentially even her duo skill, because I don't remember what the duo skill does. Attack res 03. At start of turn, if unit is adjacent to an ally, grants attack res +5 to unit for 1 turn. Yeah, that's solid, and obviously synergizes with her attack res push, as well as the Joyful Vows added buff, in-combat buff as well. So I'm curious what her duo skill is. She has a ton of attack, a ton of res. She's going to have kind of self-sufficiency with the push skill plus the Mystic Boost of taking damage and healing damage. So that's basically going to self-nullify, which is awesome for her. And then, again, she's going to just do a ton of damage. The dual effectiveness is always a strong thing. So she's a strong Micaiah, without any doubt. The fact that she's a colorless tome has certainly significant advantages, I think, with having dual effectiveness as well. So she's definitely going to be strong. There's just nothing exceptionally unique here, I would say, that we're seeing. There's nothing that kind of blows me away. There's no game changer, I think, as far as she's concerned. But she doesn't have to be a game changer. I think she's going to be a strong addition. And I say all of this without taking a look at her duo skill. So let's go ahead and do that right now, because that's going to be important. Can't really fully evaluate them without their duo skill. So yeah, I really like their art as well, and I like this effect where it looks like she's casting diamonds down. That's really nice. Alright, so let's take a look at her duo skill. Grants Dominance. Oh my god, what is this? To unit and allies within 3 columns centered on unit. Inflicts defense res -7 on foes within 3 columns centered on unit through their next actions. Dominance. Unit deals additional damage equal to tonal penalties on foe for 1 turn. Interesting. Interesting. But regardless, I think why this duo skill works is because it's a self-fulfilling condition. She inflicts defense and res -7 on foes within 3 columns. So she's already going to have -7 to the defensive stats of the opposing team or the opposing unit, and then have the dominance effect on her and her allies. So what that means is that she's going to get plus 14 additional damage from the dominance effect, because defense and res are going to be inflicted as a debuff as -7. They're also going to just take more damage because they're debuffed. Now, assuming that they aren't already debuffed with defense and res, of course. So starting from neutral, if they're getting hit with the duo skill, have a -7 on their defense and res, that ultimately means that from that standard of having no debuffs, they're effectively, the opponents are going to be taking plus 21 damage after the duo skill is activated. That's very strong, especially in the instance where 14 of that is going to be true damage. True damage, I think, is overrated in general until you start reaching really higher levels of true damage. But at the same time, this is starting to get there. I mean, if you can completely debuff the enemy, if you are in fact able to debuff an opponent and have -7 on all of their stats, and then you have dominance on one of your allies that's going to be attacking in, that's effectively 28 true damage. And that's getting into the realm of, even if your unit does 0 damage, and you're doing 28 and doubling with 28, a lot of units are going to die. So anyway, I think that her duo skill complements her very well in terms of her doing just raw, powerful, single-hit damage in general. It's going to work here. It's just going to supplement her damage and make her team just dominate, no pun intended, on a particular turn. So very strong indeed. Let's watch it in effect here and see the debuff in action and everything else. So yeah, here she goes. She is going to activate. There she goes.
Take my hand.
I love the pose. That's so cute. Alright, and it is that entire column, that entire vertical column. And obviously she's doing crazy damage here. So, yeah. No, that's definitely solid. For sure, that's solid. Okay, so Bridal Beloveds. Very interesting set of units, I've got to say. And then Lord only knows what they're going to give Hinata. I'm just going to take a quick look to see. I mean, it does look like Hinata has a unique weapon. I don't think that is one of the existing weapon sprites in the game. I could be wrong. But so if it is a unique weapon, it could be inheritable. It might not be. If I had to wager, I would say that it's probably got the effect of like the support partner effect. Just because I feel like it's underutilized, and that's probably one that they want to utilize more on a banner like this. So obviously, as usual, I think that the duo unit is probably going to be the star of the banner. I think Soth and Micaiah are actually pretty darn strong. I don't think they're that remarkable of a duo unit, just all things considered. But she's going to hit like a truck. I mean, she's going to do a ton of damage. And in terms of just like wiping a team, like she can do that very, very easily by setting up the dominance, setting up the debuffs, and having your team, like with certain team synergies of having your team catering to debuffs entirely. And a lot of units cater to that. Dominance can be really, really strong. So, but you have to, again, have a team set up for that specifically. So certainly, I think most people would argue that Micaiah and Soth are kind of the prize here. I would definitely put Nailah right under that. I think Nailah looks great. I think she plays great based upon her kit. I'm probably going to be making an attempt at least a little bit for Nailah. I think her art is awesome, and I think Nailah is awesome. I think she looks great here. So I would be interested in pulling for her. And then as far as Rafiel and Oboro, honestly, I think Rafiel's, like, as a 4-star focus unit, you can get more merges for him. He's a dancer. He has that innate value. Oboro, unfortunately, I feel like she's kind of the end of the banner. I mean, I think her art's great. I like how they worked her in as a character. But I think the redeeming quality of Oboro really is going to be the fact that she has an inheritable sword that does what it does, which, don't get me wrong, I think that's a great thing, but in terms of just overall value, that's kind of how I would rank them. You know, Micaiah, Nailah, Rafiel, and Oboro. So let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Like I said, I'm probably going to be at least pulling a little bit for Nailah, and we'll just kind of see how that goes. Let me know in the comments below who you are the most excited for and who you're going to be pulling for, if anyone. Maybe you're just going to save your orbs for the next legendary / mythic that comes along. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really, really do appreciate it. Certainly want to make sure that you all are staying safe and healthy out there with your families and friends as things are starting to open up. Just, be careful out there. And until next time, let's protect those skies.